former acting Attorney General Matthew Whitaker and Donald Trump's attorney Christina Bobb. All right, so Mr. Whitaker, my concern here is the standard applied to Joe Biden. How was nothing? I mean, obviously you'd have to be impeached, but they can't even make the recommendation to Congress for that?
No, they can't. Congress could take this report and do something with it. But, you know, this hearing, I think, highlighted actually sort of the discretion that a prosecutor has. And, you know, obviously there were violations of the law. There were criminal violations of the law. But it was concluded that somehow Joe Biden didn't have the requisite willfulness, even though he admitted in 2017 he had these documents. He admitted it to his ghostwriter. And then somehow, I guess he forgot up until they raided Mar-a-Lago, or were about to, and he decided, oh, I might have some documents that I need to turn over, and therefore I cooperated. This whole thing like puts the prosecution standards on its ear, I think.
Yeah. Well, Christina, the White House spokesman, Ian Sams, came out like less than an hour ago, and he just basically carried water. Listen to this.
Are you saying that there was no wrongdoing in claiming that the case is closed?
Well, in America, we do have the presumption of innocence. And when a prosecutor spends 15 months investigating a case only to determine that there is no case here and that there will be no charges and that the case is closed, it only affirms the innocence of the president.
Now do Russia collusion, because you still have Adam Schiff whining about that.
Right, and January 6th, this supposed insurrection for which Donald Trump has never even been charged, yet over half of the states have tried to remove him from the ballot. I mean, apparently the presumption of innocence only applies if you're liberal or willing to toe the liberal party line. It's astonishing what lengths they're willing to go to really destroy our freedoms.
Yeah, no, it's shocking. But Matthew, the House Democrats had to try to spin this her testimony any way they could. Congressman Eric Swalwell, who's the worst, the guy who was kicked off the Foreign Services Committee for sleeping allegedly with a Chinese spy, you know, he did his best to discredit her. Watch this.
You want to be perceived, understandably, as credible, and so I want to first see if you will pledge to not accept an appointment from Donald Trump if he is elected again as president.
Congressman, I'm not here to testify
Seems like an
today
easy
about
answer,
what will happen in the
considering
future.
what I just laid out.
I'm here to talk about the report and the work that went into it. And
but you don't want to be associated with that guy again, do you?
Congressman, I'm not here to offer any opinions about what may or may not happen in the future. I'm here to talk about the work that went into the report, which I stand by.
I mean, this guy's a hack.
Yeah, and it looked just like my experience when I went in front of the House Judiciary Committee, and he asked me some, you know, question that he wanted me to puppet back that was, you know, some refusal or some rejection of Donald Trump. You know, Eric Swalwell is not a credible person. You know, when he ran for president, it was a joke, and, you know, he continues to stay on that same theme. You know, Rob Hur, I worked with him at the Department of Justice. He is a experienced prosecutor. I just think he used his discretion a little too broadly in this particular case, because there was plenty of evidence. And, you know, it seems to me that the law requires him to bring this case and let a jury decide, not a prosecutor.
Right. Christina, real quick, you know, if you were a prosecutor, if you were somehow involved in adjudicating this, do you see enough evidence to probably charge him, or at least make the recommendation to?
There's enough evidence in the report. I mean, Jim Jordan pulled it out of him when he said he had 8 million reasons that would have gone towards the intent. The whole reason that Special Counsel Hur said that he could not prosecute Joe Biden is because he didn't have the requisite intent. Yet he had 8 million motivations, as well as leaving a legendary, you know, idea of himself, his legacy, which was also established in the report. Yes, there's more than enough information in this report to prosecute.
It's all game. Like, it's not serious to anybody, except if you're a political opponent of the left. Then it's serious. Matthew Whitaker, Christina Bobb, appreciate you standing up.
Thanks, Carl. Good to see you.
Thank you.
All right.